Hi, this is Claire talking to you here from Luminare Press in our design department here. I just wanted to go over sort of the anatomy of a typical book cover. So whether or not you're designing your own cover yourself or working with a local designer where you are, or or if you've hired us to do a cover for you, there are some things that you want to think about. Um, so here I've got one cover that we designed here, um, and this one was a challenging one because we didn't want the title of the book, Liz Bits, to be read as if it were the author name. So we knew we would have to use everything we could to show the hierarchy here of what was what. Um, So first off, I guess one important thing is to really be thinking about all the parts of the cover, not just the front. I know that's the first thing the consumer will see, and someone in a bookstore might see, but when you're making one, you have all of this to think about. So there's sort of three different parts here. We have the front cover, we have this spine here, and we have the back cover back here. So, and you really want to use all that real estate to your best advantage. So just starting from the top here, let's say you're filling out our cover questionnaire here, and the first thing at the top is going to be what is your title. So here, that's going to be what is most legible and probably the largest size on your cover. And next, some people have a subtitle they might want to include. And people vary or have different schools of thought on this. It's just up to personal preference, whether or not you want to use title case, all caps, or in this case, the author wanted to use small case, all lowercase, and that was, I think, worked really well for this one. And then, of course, your author name. Hierarchically, I would say sizing-wise, you'd want to scale them about like so. And this is totally optional. Some people will include a little bit of almost like a byline, like say a novel or a novel by. I think that is totally optional. In this case, it really made it clear that it was a piece of fiction. Some people, I think it's only really necessary if you feel the need to do that, or let's say you're doing a children's book and you want to sort of delineate who is the author, who it's written by versus who illustrated it. Some people may also, if they have a foreword that's written by somebody notable, they may also include that underneath their author name on the front. So even though the last bit I'm going to say about the cover is that a lot of really effective covers have imagery that extends all the way from the front cover to the back cover. So you're not just thinking about this front piece, but that's in a sort of portrait orientation, but you're thinking all the way and more this whole area. And not just that, but most printers will require a bit of a bleed area here. So if there's this trim line that stops here, if you want imagery that goes up to the edge, you have to think even a little bit bigger than that. So that's sort of my preview with trim line. That's with the bleed. So when you're searching for artwork, make sure you've got a little extra to work with. What else? Okay, so let's move along to the spine here. So for the spine, these are pretty basic. These, you just, of course, want to make sure your title is really visible. If that's all someone gets to see of your book and their first encounter on a bookshelf, bookstores probably won't even stock your book if you do not have spine text. So that is a bit of a consideration when you're doing print on demand and and the printer has some limitations around how the page count you've got to have in order to even have spine text be allowed. So yeah, so I think for a children's book, you want to have a minimum of 48 pages to even be able to get spine text, and that's with Ingram. And KDP has a limit of 100 and some pages as a minimum page count just to have spine text. So yeah, so making novels, you probably won't have to worry about that, but children's books and poetry books, sometimes you have to think about that. So yeah, so pretty much you're just going to be limited to an imprint if you want. Publisher's little icon will do it. You don't have to show the logo text as well. Author name and title. Now, if you have a book that is a series, let's say in a trilogy, you could put the book number that you're on up here at the top. And for all the books, you could have them line up. That's kind of fun. Some people even have designs on their spines that they have in their whole series line up as well. Oh, and speaking of, if you're doing a series, that is another bit of information. If you have a series title, you could include that up top here. Let's see, what else is optional? Oh, if you have a really amazing testimonial and you have room for it, there's also an option to put, you know, one, maybe two on the front. But I really enjoy leaving quite a bit of air in your design and not cluttering up with more content on the front cover if you can help it. Okay, so moving on to the back cover. This is all precious real estate, so you really want to be thinking about what really sells it for you. So if you have testimonials, that's amazing. If you can get someone else to say something great about you rather than toot your own horn, it holds even more weight. So yeah, so when you include your testimonial, like this one, she wanted to list praise from both a previous book and for this one. She had some Amazon reviews and some other things. So it's kind of sculpted to, you know, even though it's not necessarily somebody famous, it's given her a nice quote here. We've still included their credentials so that, you know, at least we're being told why their opinion matters. So both of those things should come with not only the glowing quote, but kind of their role and why they might be important. So include credentials if you got them. So let's see, aside from praise and testimonials, this author wanted to include an excerpt. Now, excerpts can get a little long, and I think the challenge with this one was we had 1, 2, 3 testimonials and an excerpt and book description. So sadly, that didn't leave a whole lot of room left to include her author bio, which was fine because that is also something that you can choose to include on the interior of your book. A lot of authors opt to do either or. The nice thing about the cover is we could do it in color if the author photo was great and we didn't have other more important things to put here. But yeah, interior placement was fine for this one. We just sort of ran out of room. So this one, yes, we used a bit of an excerpt to pull people in. You can also just do like a sentence, and maybe that's in a bigger font, and I like to call that grabber copy, or a bit of a hook to pull your reader in. And then this is your straightforward book description. Now it's also true that some people, we've had authors that have 20 testimonials, and that's just scratching the surface. In those cases, we say, why don't you put your best 2 or 3 on the cover, and then you can use the front matter of your interior to list the rest of them. So we can always find a home for those. Another thing to think about here is this, especially if we're printing with KDP, this barcode area, which is going to feature your ISBN and your pricing, but definitely your whole barcode is going to need placement here. Now, printing with KDP, they are going to require this specific placement. But let's see, if we're printing with Ingram, we get a little bit of leeway as to where that can go. If you have an author website, absolutely use it. This is a great opportunity to use your book cover as a business card. People who love your work can jump right in there and find the info they need to follow your blog or find your Facebook page. So branding and marketing wherever you can is great, but keep it small. Don't get too smarmy about it. Let's see. Again, you can put your publishing imprint there if you like. You can have your own, or you can use, if you're working with us, Luminare can include theirs. It adds a little more weight to your book and makes it look self-published. Let's see, retail price, that's something you can choose to include if you like. It's not required. If you're selling your book online, you can distribute it in any number of places and set your prices there. Bookstores will make it different anyway. In order for it to set up all those accounts, you'll need to do that, but you don't have to do it there. So that's essentially kind of a diagram of all the parts of a book cover you can expect to need to think about. And like I said, you don't need to have all of those things. You just think about what you do have that you could really highlight to better feature and sell your book. Okay, thanks for watching, folks. I hope this was helpful. Again, this is Claire, designer at Luminare Press, signing off.